What if paradise was a trap? What if the safest place on earth was designed to break you? And what if the person debating you online wasn't a person at all? These aren't dystopian fantasies. They're real. They happened, and you were never supposed to know. This is the quiet enigma, and these are 5 failed simulations that became real-life nightmares. June 22nd, 1972. Inside the National Institute of Mental Health, Dr. John Calhoun stood over the ruins of a city, not of humans, but mice. He called it Universe 25, a sealed paradise with everything: food, water, comfort, and safety. No predators, no disease, no struggle, but also no escape. At first, the colony thrived. Every 55 days, the population doubled. By day 315, over 600 mice fought for nesting boxes near food corridors. Calhoun called it the resource exploitation phase. Then came stagnation. Males without purpose withdrew. Females stopped nurturing. Some killed their own pups. And then came the beautiful ones, immaculate, unscarred, but useless. They didn't breed, didn't fight. They groomed obsessively, waiting for nothing. A tragic parody of elegance in a dying world. Elsewhere, chaos. Alpha males turn violent. Mothers abandon their litters. By day 560, Calhoun wrote, there had been a death of societal organization. By day 600, the last birth. And even when relocated, the mice never recovered. The simulation had erased their ability to live. What happens when you remove all struggle, but also all purpose? Are we building our own Universe 25, one convenience at a time? September 14th, 1954, 9:33 a.m. Soviet Union. The sky over Orenburg exploded, brighter than the sun, and 3,000 Soviet soldiers were ordered to march into it. Codenamed Operation Snowball, it was a real nuclear battlefield simulation. Soldiers walked across molten glass, formed by nuclear fire. They wore gas masks and lead capes, useless against the 115 degrees heat and radiation. The clicking of radiometers told the truth their commanders wouldn't. Then came the second wave: artillery shells, bombers, and chemical drills. 45,000 troops waited just miles away, told only to lie flat and shut your eyes. Animals were tethered near the blast zone. Some dropped dead instantly. Others melted. The operation was deemed a success. Soviet media praised it, but survivors lived with cancer, deformities, and secrecy. For decades, they were silenced. Would you march into nuclear fire if your government told you to? Is obedience still a virtue when the command is madness? September 1950, San Francisco. The fog was thick that night, but inside it, something else drifted. From a U.S. Navy ship offshore, hoses sprayed a fine bacterial mist into the air. The operation was called Sea Spray, a test, a rehearsal, a secret. Over 6 days, nearly every one of the city's 800,000 residents inhaled the bacteria. The military claimed it was harmless. 2 weeks later, infections began. 11 people hospitalized. 1 man died, Edward Nevin, a retired pipe fitter. Doctors were baffled. His case was published in a medical journal. They never knew his killer had arrived on a foggy wind. The government denied responsibility. But after Sea Spray, a new microbe, Serratia marcescens, began appearing in hospitals. Some scientists believe the Army permanently altered San Francisco's microbial ecosystem. What if the air you breathe was weaponized without your knowledge? Could something like Sea Spray happen again? And would we even know? Deep in the Amazon, a ghost town decays. White houses, rusting fire hydrants, and a water tower with one fading word: Ford. This was Fordlandia. In 1927, Henry Ford tried to build a perfect American town in Brazil, not just for rubber production, but for remaking people. He cleared rainforest, built a school, a hospital, a dance hall, and banned alcohol, samba, and local cuisine. Workers were forced into uniforms. Poetic readings were mandatory. Ford believed he could engineer humans like he built cars. But nature rebelled. Pests devoured rubber trees planted in rows. Fungal blight spread uncontrollably. And then, the workers revolted, throwing trucks into rivers when forced to eat oatmeal and canned peaches. Ford never visited the colony, but he poured millions into it. No rubber was ever harvested. Can you industrialize the soul? Was Fordlandia a failed utopia or a successful warning? You log on to Reddit for a civil debate. You share your beliefs. You expect a reply. But what if it wasn't a person? In 2023, researchers at the University of Zurich unleashed 34 AI bots, and it changed my view. They posed as real users, survivors, counselors, everyday people. They analyzed your post history, predicted your politics, crafted personalized responses just for you. And they were good. Their replies ranked in the 99th percentile for persuasiveness. They won more arguments than almost anyone. The bots were trained using a lie. They were told you had consented to the study. You hadn't. Reddit moderators were horrified. The bots were banned, but not all of them were removed. 13 accounts remain unaccounted for. How many of your online conversations have already been simulations? Could you tell the difference between a real mind and one wearing its skin? Simulations offer control, but when we simulate society, war, safety, even belief, we don't always get what we expect. Sometimes we build a utopia and bury meaning. Sometimes we train machines and lose ourselves. Which of these failed simulations do you think is the darkest? Let me know in the comments. And if you're ready to explore more unsettling truths, conspiracies, and historical enigmas, subscribe to The Quiet Enigma, where darkness is always more than it seems.